It's the Record Collectors 7 to 9. By the way, I'm Chris Savoury. This is Mike Adams.
This is the Record Collectors with the gruesome twosome Mike Adams and Chris Savoury. And this is the part of the programme where we take your calls. And by the way, if any questions you want to talk to our friend Bob Fisher from Sequel Records, a man who in fact puts the compilations together, we give you the chance, and we'll give you priority because he got stuck in the traffic, to put questions to him about the kind of labels that he now handles. Things like I've got in front of me Piccadilly Records, for example, but I mean that's just one of many. Sequel Records are one of the major redistribution labels that we actually have in the Great Britain at the present time. So if you've got any questions about reissues at all and what you would like to see, get your call through to Tony Fry now, and we'll make sure that Bob Fisher can speak to you directly on 0743 248 321. But our first call this evening is going to be talking to, should be Alan Whitney. Alan, welcome to the Record Collectors.
Good evening.
What's your question to the gruesome twosome?
Well, it's the first one. I've got two, actually.
All right.
The first one is a Bob Dylan LP. It's called A Rare Batch of Little White Wonder.
Ah. Yes.
Yeah, I hear you laughing. It's on a Joker label.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think we've both seen this record lots of times. It is, of course, a bootleg, as you probably know.
Well, I assumed it was. Yeah.
Yes, and it is one of the most famous bootlegs of them all. When did you buy this?
I bought it about a month, 5-6 weeks ago, actually. Probably, yeah. 5 weeks ago at a cabaret sale. But it's absolutely immaculate, so whoever hasn't even played it, it's mint. So it is a bootleg, is it?
Yes, it is, of course. I mean, bootlegs are collectible. It is. I mean, if it's on the Joker label, it is the bootleg. That's right. It isn't on CBS, is it? Because it wouldn't be the Joker.
No, it is on the Joker label. Well, I've got quite a few Dylan LPs.
Right. Well, it is a collectible bootleg because bootlegs are collectible as well. So, if it's in that condition, you'd probably. I know Dylan collectors will pay double figures for that. They pay anything between £15 upwards for that record. It depends on what issue it is, you see, because there are, I think, 3 or 4 different pressings of it. So I'd have to see it. But what's your next? You've got a more legitimate question next.
I'm sorry, but well, the other one actually, it probably isn't really legitimate.
Sorry about that.
It's an LP that I picked up when I bought a collection, and it's a 3-album set.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I haven't got all the details. So I'm in the lorry at the moment.
Yes.
But it's a compilation of. It's a live album.
Yes.
It's got Carly Simon, James Taylor, Bruce Springsteen, and the new band. Bonnie Raitt, Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yes.
And it's called No Nukes.
Right.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I have heard of that. We're just in fact, it's just solo at the moment because one of our microphones has just gone down. Yes, I have heard of it. I would say that record, off the top of my head, and without referring to a book, about, hopefully, yes, we're back there now. No Nukes, Chris. What price would you put on that? Welcome back, Chris.
That's all right. I got distracted. I was just going to say that the White Wonder bootleg is if I remember rightly, is the rarest Dylan bootleg, and I'm not sure the price, but any of the issues is going well over 15. I'll check that out tomorrow. I know someone who's a Dylan fan. I'm doing the record. I'm going up to the record fair in Oswald Street tomorrow, which is the Memorial Hall in Church Road. So I know someone who'll give me a few more details on that. But the second one I'm not sure on, because I wasn't really. I'm sorry, a microphone dropped on my little finger.
Let me just tell you about that particular White Wonder. If it's the original one, we're talking about a bootleg that is worth a lot of money. But I disagree with Chris, actually, because I have been told by a friend of mine who collects Bob Dylan that there's been a lot of them being pumped out in the last. It's like a reissue of a bootleg, and if it's a much later one, I think between £15 and £30 will be maybe nearer 20, 25. But if it's the original, it's worth auctioning.
Would they all have the same number? I suppose they would, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. But I gather if you're a real expert, you can tell the difference. Is that it then, Alan?
Well, no, yeah, but the No Nukes one, you was going to say You was going to tell me about the no nukes.
Neither was I absolutely sure about the question, about the answer to that one, so we're going to duck on it.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Alan.
I'll see you at the NEC.
Okay, Alan.
Bye.
That was Alan Whitney calling us on his mobile. I'm not quite sure what Alan is actually from. The time is 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. You're tuned to Mike Adams and Chris Save, the record collectors. Now we are locked in. Our microphones are both working. Let's now go to our next caller, and I think this call is coming from Stoke-on-Trent. Hello? Who am I speaking to? Hello? Stoke-on-Trent? Are you with me? Hello? Hang on, try again. Hello? Is that Paul?
Hello.
Welcome to the programme, Paul. Sorry to keep you waiting. What's your question to the gruesome twosome?
Well, I brought an LP in 1986 for about £10. It's a picture disc called No Strings Attached.
Yeah.
And it features all the records by the Barry Gray Orchestra, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Hijacked Aquamarine, and so on and so forth. And it's a Christmas special. It's called Thunderbirds Are Go for Christmas, and it's got all the cast on the front of it, sitting on the Christmas tree.
Oh, yes. Now, I can actually tell you that I'm the proud possessor of this record myself. But I didn't pay a lot for it.
I can't remember how much I paid for it. I was only young when I brought it.
Right. Oh, dear me. I didn't pay a lot for this record. I didn't buy it that long ago. But you see, Thunderbird material, everything with Thunderbird material, has increased in price. I know there's a shop in Crewe that deals with Thunderbird material, Nettleston Road. I wouldn't like to be definitive on this, but I would think it's probably got to be double figures because of how Thunderbird things are so collectible. How much did you pay for it?
I think it was around about £10 I paid for it.
About £10. Well, I don't think you were done, that's for sure. But I think I paid for mine about £8. And I thought I got it quite cheaply. But if my friend in Crewe there is listening to this, and I know he's a Thunderbird fan, a call to us on 0743 248 321 will be appreciated. I mean, as an educated guest, and it would be a guess, Paul, I would think a specialist would probably sell it for about twice what you paid for it.
Yeah.
But it is just a guess, and if we have Thunderbird collectors out there, so a call from one of them would be great.
Okay, then.
Okay, Paul.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye. That was Paul Wilshaw calling us from Stoke. As I said to you before, we're very grateful to have Bob, who's up from Sequel Records, and already somebody wants to talk to him. This is Joe Roach. Hello, Joe.
Hello, hi.
Welcome to the programme, Joe. Bob Fisher is all yours.
Hello,
Hi.
Joe.
Hello, Bob, hi. First of all, thanks for putting out some very good reissues. I've bought quite a few of them. Really pleased with them.
Thanks.
The last time you were on, you said that you were trying to do something about the VJ catalogue, which you felt had been sadly neglected. I wondered if you'd managed to do anything about that. I think you were talking about reissuing Jimmy Reed and D. Clark.
No,
maybe something
it's
like that.
still a bit of a problem to deal with because it's,
Are you still working on it?
well, not at the moment really. It's down to the American owners to do something about the people in Europe who exploit its out of copyright. You know, a lot of it is a lot of European countries, you may or may not know, only have a 25-year copyright law.
Yes, yeah.
So the entire VJ catalogue is out of copyright. So they can do what they like with it and pay no royalties and export it all across the EC. And there really isn't a lot of point in getting into that. I mean, the whole bootlegging thing is perhaps unfair to call them bootlegs because the country of origin, they're not really bootlegs.
That's right, yes, such as Italy and what have you. Yeah.
It's the problem is the transshipping of them across the borders, which the EC have to do something about. There isn't any point in me paying money to acquire VJ just to put it out and not be able to control what other parties are doing.
Yeah, quite. Take your point. So you're not working on that?
No, not really. I mean, the ball is really in their court.
Right. Okay, thanks anyway.
Okay then,
Thanks.
Joe.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
All right, that was Joe Roach calling us from Chester. Just to add to that, if I may, is there going to be a uniformity on copyright law in the near future? We've got a free market situation. It seems crazy.
There will be in well, they're talking about the end of 1994, I think.
Yeah, 95, beginning of 95.
Beginning of 95.
And how long will it when
Well, it should be 50 years across the entire EC retrospectively, which means that hopefully it will mean that all those people who are in the business of exploiting their domestic copyright laws will be given a kind of moratorium period to get out of the business or only deal with pre-19 44 recordings or whatever they'll have to do.
And some actually do double standards. I'm told that, if I'm right, it's the Dutch who...
Well, the Dutch have no copyright law at all.
Have no copyright law. That's right, they have no copyright law at all, and yet they are quite active in stopping this market. They seem to go both ways.
Well, that's because they can stop the people who are doing it on the basis of some unfair trading law, I think they call it, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And also, is it Denmark and Italy? Or Denmark is very strong in that. Is it 25 years in Denmark as well as Italy?
Yes, that's right, yeah. And in Italy, it's live performances in Italy are even less. I can't remember what they are. 15, I think, yeah.
Right, let's move on to our next call. By the way, you can talk to Bob Fisher. You're tuned to The Record Collectors with Mike Adams and Chris Savory on your favourite local BBC station, and our phone lines are open 0743 248 321. And we've got Jerry Pemberton and Tony Fry taking the calls. That's 0743 248 321. Before I go to our next call, I will just tell you that if you're into rock and roll, on the 23rd of October, the Rapiers and DJ Moggy are at Cheadle in Staffordshire. I can tell you now, it's Cheadle, Staffordshire, and the information you want to ring them is 0298. Do ring first, 0298 813 465. That's Cheadle Sports, Councillor Lane, and it's 0298 813 465. But ring first. It's Wear the Gear, that's Rapiers, the marvellous band called the Rapiers. Let's move to our next caller, which hopefully will be Simon Kemp. Simon, welcome to the Record Collector.
Thank you very much, thank you. I believe I've got some Beatles rarities here.
Oh, let's hear about it then.
The first two concern Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers.
Right.
One is an LP called My Body.
Yes.
The original German issue, issued in '62.
Yes.
I just wondered, how much is it worth?
Right. This album came out in about. Oh, let's have a. This album came out in at least 8 and 9 different formats. Right. Have you got the picture of the group? Describe the cover to me.
Well, it's got Tony Sheridan in a field, it looks like, with his guitar slung on his back.
Right.
With it's got 3 pictures of some twisting people.
Yes. Yeah, and what colour's the label?
It's orange.
Oh, that's great. All right. And when did you purchase it?
Last week.
And how much did you pay for it?
It was quite expensive. £250 it was.
Right. Well, it is not an auctionable item. You've got a very rare item there.
Yeah.
Where did you purchase it from?
The Beatles record and CD day last week.
Right.
Birmingham.
Right. Well, that of course, as you obviously knew, you didn't pay over the odds. You paid about the market price.
Yes.
It's an auctionable item.
Is it really?
Yes. So when we're talking about price of £200-300 or more, then we with the Beatles. The Beatles is a funny marketplace, and I always say to people with this sort of item, if you're going to really get the price for it, and that kind of item, I'd put it through Sotheby's, because you're likely to get more, as long as you put a reserve on it.
So is that rare, is it?
It is rare, but, you did pay a good price for it. You didn't get it cheap. You paid a good market price for it. You were not done, but you paid a good market price for it.
Yep. And
certainly all Beatle items have shown historically to improve in value.
Oh, great.
Okay, then, Simon.
No, I've got 2 more.
Okay.
The second one is the original German issue, issued in '61, with the German intro, My Body.
Right. Oh, okay. And how much did you pay for that one?
£50.
Yeah, well, you did very well on that one. And did it come with the original polydor sleeve?
That's right.
And the colour of the sleeve was?
Orange.
Orange, right. You've got sounds like the first issue sleeve you've got there.
It was imported, I heard, from Brian Epstein himself.
Right.
I heard from the dealer, he told me that.
Right. Well, of course, he did import them for distribution in the United Kingdom. And what condition is the record?
Excellent. It's very, very good.
Yes. Well, that record goes now somewhere between £40 and £60. So again, you pay the right price.
And the third one is a bit of an oddity. I've spoken to some dealers and they'd never heard of it, or they'd never seen one. It's a Parlophone release, the single From Me to You. It's the old red label with a tricenter.
Oh, yes. It's Rhodesian, is it?
I don't know.
Yes.
I was told that it may be South African.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not unusual. That particular... How much did you pay for that one?
25.
Well, you paid the right price for that. Incidentally, I know there's quite a few of those singles in the Tudor House in Chester. Have some tri-centre Beatle singles at about that price at the moment, 25. 25 to about 35 is the right price for that.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see the triangular centre.
It is. I've never seen one
Yes,
before.
well, they are around, and you certainly bought at about the right price, Simon.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that was Simon Kemp from Edgbaston. I'll talk to you about the Beatles.
Right, here's a phone-in once. This is from Vivian Ansell. She wants the Doobie Brothers Farewell Tour. That's the double album which was on Warner Brothers. Can you help her with that? The Doobie Brothers Farewell Tour on Warner Brothers. It's 0384 256 540. That's 0384 256 540. Speak to Vivian.
And there we are. By the way, your quiz question for this week is, I'd like to know, this is the question, I would like to know from our listener, what was Raymond Froggatt's first official British release? What was Raymond Froggatt's first official British release? And if you can answer that question, then I will give you a prize ticket to see Froggy live, and believe me, he's marvellous. He's appearing live at the Oakengates Town Hall on the 13th of November. So I've got a ticket in a lovely seat position. So if you know what Raymond Froggatt's very first British release was, write to Mike Adams and Chris Savory, the Record Collectors, P.O. Box 397, Shrewsbury, SY1 3TT. Let's go to might be our last call, because we want to talk to Bob Fisher a bit this evening. It's Steve Thompson. Steve Thompson, welcome to the programme.
Good evening.
Welcome to the programme. So whereabouts are you calling us from?
Salford.
All right, what's your question to Chris and I?
Well, I've got a couple of records I think are worth a little bit of money. So I'd like your opinion and evaluation, but also a bit of advice if I wanted to sell them, the best way of getting the best price.
Okay. We'll do our best. We'll go for it, Steve.
Okay. The first one is by Mike and the Modifiers. I found myself a brand new baby. Very early Tamla record on Oriole.
It's on Oriole.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, this we're going into now, I'm told about $250 for a copy. I've heard various prices. I mean, some people say to you, no, it's 150. Some say no, it's... But if I said to you, we'll split the difference and we'll look at a £200 record at the moment, as somebody said recently, the best thing to do is to sell it to a record fair dealer, because they rip you off. You know, they buy records for a penny and they sell them for £100. Every record they buy is a penny. That's what somebody said to me last week. Never mind. Seriously, you've got to go to one of the trade magazines and put it in something like Record Collector, and you got to put offers. What condition is Mike in?
I'd say excellent minus, VG plus.
Right, well,
a little bit of writing on the label, but it plays very well.
Okay, let's clean it up and let's call it excellent. Put it in, and it's got to be for offers. That's your way to get rid of it.
Smashing.
So I've never heard it, but people tell me it's a terrible record. But I don't know. I've never heard it.
Yeah, it is.
Right, what's your next one?
Yeah, Steve Marriott, before he joined the Small Faces, give her my regards, demo copy in mint condition.
On Decca?
On Decca, yeah.
On Decca, yeah, Decca demo. That did come out. I'm just trying to think. What was the B-side of that?
I'll just turn it over for you. Imaginary Love.
Yeah. I think from memory, the ordinary is listed at about 18 or 20. I'm just going off the top of my head there, but the demo is going to be around the 30 plus. Mike will probably give you the exact.
Are we talking about F11619? Is that the record number? F116.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, according to the Music Master price guide, which I've just looked up for you, it's £35 for an excellent copy, and the demo of it has got to be. It's
going to be around the £60
plus mark.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as much as that. I thought they were around the £20 mark, but
it's quite rare. It's quite rare, that one, and you're talking £60 plus for the Decca F11619 demo.
Smashing.
Okay then, Steve.
Right, thanks a lot.
Bless your heart. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Steve Thompson calling us from Salford. Time for our... hopefully we got one more call here, and we're talking to Dave Humphreys. Dave, are you welcome to us?
Hello.
Welcome to the programme, Dave. What can the gruesome gruesome twosome do for you?
Well, I've got the record I've got. It's really a folk record, but the interesting item on it is it says occasionally Blind Boy Grunt, which I don't know if you know. That's another name for Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, yes. Well,
the record is Dick Farina and Eric von Schmidt with Ethan Signer and occasionally Blind Boy Grunt.
Right.
Folklore Records, recorded Dobell's Jazz Record Shop, London, 14th and 15th of January 1963.
Do you know that one? Do you know Bob, that record particularly or not? Because it is an auctionable record. You've got a lovely record there, David.
Yeah.
I would certainly, if it was my record, I would take the Coward's Way out and stick it in Record Collector magazine. I wouldn't take it to Sotheby's, but I'd take it to Record Collector magazine or similar, and I'd put it in for bids. It's a lovely item. Are you a Bob Dylan fan?
I am. I heard the first item that you had, and I didn't bring the record out.
That was the White Wonder album.
Yeah, I've got some of those, but what I've also got is...
Have you got that particular album we mentioned from, was it Alan Whitney, who asked for the he had the bootleg on Joker? Have you got that particular record?
Yes.
How much did you pay for it?
Nothing much at all.
No.
It was very cheap, but what I was going to say, I've got the Great White Wonder, the first bootleg from I forget when I got it second-hand.
Yes.
It was given to me, but it was from the 1960s, totally white.
Yes.
But with just, I think it's got Great White Wonder just stamped on the outside in just a rubber stamp type thing. But it's been spoiled to a certain extent. The person who had it before me has written the tracks on the plain white cover.
That's the temptation we all do. The thing is, the big key, the major key about record collecting is, and whatever the temptation, leave the record as it is.
Yeah.
Leave the record as it is. Would you agree with that, Chris? Leave the record exactly as it is. But I would say with that record, David, put it up for auction.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'd stick it in...
What about the Great White Wonder?
Well, I would...